Oh.
So my group wouldn't
So
have
Monday?
a leader.
Oh, that's true.
I'm
Or
not.
even Mondays. I feel like I don't get very much homework on Mondays. But Wednesdays, I just feel like it's the middle of the week.
It is.
We're all
It's
like
kinda like overload.
overload.
What is this in my phone?
There is a better day, though, really.
What? I think we all just want study hall all the time.
Just ask people who you write down.
Okay.
Mom and Dad are my friends.
So we were still going over those. Did you guys, we still have more questions, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Did you do number 32?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure I did it wrong, so I need to ask what the correct answer is.
Okay, so we left off on 31.
We did 30.
We did 31.
Right,
That
okay.
was the last one.
32, okay. This is what, I'm just gonna draw it so you know what it is.
It's not showing.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Now? Okay. Hopefully my iPad doesn't die. It's y equal, or no, y prime, the answer, and if you have questions we can go over it. This is 1 over the square root of x plus 1 over 2x to the 3 halves. So if you put x to the 1/2, that would be fine. Is that what you got?
I didn't even get that far.
Did you try these Lauren?
I didn't do 32.
You didn't do 32.
I got, like I took the 2 square root x and I made it 2x to the 1/2.
Yeah, I did that too.
And then
That's right.
I subtracted 1 over x to the 1/2. And then can I bring the x to the 1/2 to the numerator? Or is
And
that
then
not
make it
allowed?
negative.
Like x to the negative?
When you found the derivative, you did what?
Like, so I don't have to worry about a denominator, can I bring the denominator up to the numerator and make it negative before I find
For your
it?
answer?
Like, before I do the derivative?
For the second part?
Mm-hmm.
So you did minus x to the negative 1/2?
Mm-hmm. Is that
Yeah.
allowed?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure if I had to do the quotient rule, or if you're allowed to bring
No,
it.
you can
Okay.
do that. That's what I would probably, that's probably the easier way to do it.
Okay.
So,
So, would it just be x?
so you do 1/2, you bring the 1/2 down in front of the 2, so 1/2 times 2, which would be 1, so we don't really need to put it, and then x to the 1/2 minus 1, which would be negative 1/2. And then we have negative 1/2 times negative 1, which would be
Negative.
positive 1/2. Right, because this is like negative 1. Negative 1/2 times
Yeah, okay.
negative 1 would be positive. And then x to the,
Negative 3 over 2.
yes.
Okay.
And then you would just rewrite it without the negative exponents. So, and since it's 1/2, you could write the square root of x, or you could write x to the 1/2, that would be fine too. Plus 1 over 2x to the 3. Questions about that? Okay. We did 33 in class, correct?
Yes.
Did you have answers for 34?
Yes.
Okay. What did you get for the first derivative?
X plus 1.
2x.
2x plus 1.
Oh.
So the second derivative,
Oh, oops, yeah.
How do you show that you're like finding a second derivative?
you use 2 primes. So like the notation of this, so the first derivative is 2x plus 1. The second derivative, you put 2 primes, basically.
Okay.
So that would be 2. And the third derivative, you put 3, which would be 0. And the fourth derivative would be 0. And so every derivative after that would actually be 0, right? Okay. Questions? So 35, what did you get for the first derivative?
Negative x minus 2
To the
Raised to
negative
the-
2.
mhm. plus 2x.
Okay, good. Second derivative,
What?
oh no. 30,
I don't even know
Five.
what I was doing here. I must have read these really wrong.
the first derivative is negative x to the negative 2 plus 2x. And I would go ahead and leave that exponent as a negative since we're going to have to continue finding derivatives after that.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Do you understand it now?
Yeah, I understand like how to do it. I just don't know what I did.
Okay, so the second derivative is
2x to the negative third plus 2.
good. And third is
Negative 6x to the negative.
good. And the fourth,
24x to the negative 5.
yep. Questions? Okay, and 36.
I have a question on 36.
Okay.
I think I might have done this wrong, because do we have to do the quotient?
You could do the quotient rule, or you could divide each of the top terms by x.
I think I did this one.
So you would either have to use the quotient rule, or you have to rewrite this as x divided by x plus 1 divided by x, which would be 1 plus x to the negative 1.
Oh, I like that.
You could do that, or you could use the quotient rule. That probably is the easier way of doing it.
That's not the derivative yet, you still have to take the derivative.
Right, that's just rewriting the original function. So what would the first derivative be?
Negative 1x to the negative 2.
Good. So the second derivative,
2x to the negative 3.
good. The third,
Negative 6x to the negative 4.
good. And the fourth,
24x to the negative 5.
oh, it's the same as the,
Yeah.
oh. Got it, okay. we did 37 through 39 in class, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did you do on 40?
I think part of it, but
Okay, what did you guys get?
For the y equals negative 1 over 12 x minus 4.
They're asking you, did you guys get the x and the y intercepts? Or you didn't get that far?
I don't know if I did this right.
Okay, what did you do? Sorry, go ahead, Olivia, what were you saying?
I found the derivative, and then
Okay, which is what?
the 3x squared.
Okay, good.
And then I plugged in negative 2 for the x value.
Good.
So I got the slope of the tangent to be 12.
Good.
And then I made the normal line slope negative 1/12.
I don't know if we need to do that for this question.
Okay.
Because it says, find the x and y intercepts of the line that is tangent to the curve at the points. So we're only concerned with the tangent line here.
Mm-hmm.
So we do not need to find the normal. So you have the slope of the tangent, and then what would we do?
Then you have to like do like the y minus the y value and then.
Yes. So then you use point slope form. They gave you this point to begin with, and you found the slope to be 12. So it'd be y minus
Negative 8.
-8 equals 12 times x plus 2. Or I'm going to go ahead and write x minus -2.
Where's that coming from?
That is coming from the point slope equation, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And x, where x1, y1 is a point on the line, and m is the slope. And I forget what section we first started talking about that. Do you guys remember? No. But you should have that in your notes previously, but that's point slope form if you need to write the equation of a line. That's helpful if you have the slope and a point on the line. Okay?
So then there's the sorry, my brain now.
Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Well, after you do that equation, is that your answer then? Or is that just the equation of the tangent?
Well, what are they asking us for?
Oh, the x and y intercept.
Do we have the x and y intercepts?
Yes.
Okay, what are they?
Did they give them to us?
They give you the point that's on the line. This is the equation of the tangent. Any questions about how we got that? Okay, so now this is back to algebra. How do you find the intercepts? We didn't do any examples like that, but it should be reviewed.
Do you just have to plug one of the points in and then find like if you put like negative 8 in for y and then find x, do you do it that way or no?
What? First of all, there's one that I can tell just by looking at the equation.
Oh.
16 is what?
Y.
Right, okay, so this is in slope intercept form, so if I just look at the equation, I can tell that 16 is the y-intercept. finding the x-intercept is a little bit more challenging. And if you think about a graph, let's go ahead and sketch this graph. So it'll have a y-intercept of 16 and a slope of 12. So it's going to go like that, basically. It's probably steeper than that, but some, a rough idea. How am I going to figure out what this point is right here, the x-intercept? What do I know about this point right here?
It's negative.
It is going to be negative. That's true. It has a coordinate, right? It has an x value and it has a y value. I already know one of those values. 0 is the y value, right? So anytime you are finding the x-intercept, the y value at that point will be 0, right? So if you have the equation of the line to find the x-intercept, you put in a 0 for y. And then you solve it. So the x-intercept is going to be negative 4/3. Good. And the y-intercept was negative 6.
Is there another one like that we could do? Or is that's different?
No, which is why I did most of that section in class, the 37 through 40, just because it's just applying everything that you've learned in this section and in the past. So unfortunately no, but I could probably come up with something.
I didn't get 41 or 42 either.
You didn't?
Fractions throw me off.
I think I did it wrong.
Why?
Because I got y equals x.
Stop doing that.
I don't think I did it right.
You're wrong!
Okay.
I know.
So 41, find the tangents to Newton's serpentine.
I think it's because I keep just doing, I'm finding the derivative of the top and the derivative of the bottom, and then just simplifying them
So do we have to use the quotient rule
instead
on
of
this
the
one?
quotient rule.
Or we could, yeah. We
You can't bring it up, or no?
There's nothing else we can do in this one to simplify it. So yes, you do have to use the quotient rule. So that would be what? It's bottom or denominator times derivative of the numerator, which is 4, minus numerator times the derivative of the denominator, which is 2x divided by the denominator, the bottom squared.
Do you have to simplify the square, or can you leave it?
Usually no.
Okay.
You don't. Okay, so 4x squared plus 4 minus 8x squared.
Is that the answer?
That's the derivative. And what are we trying to find in this case? The tangents at the origin and at the point. Okay, so if we have the derivative what is the meaning of that? The derivative is what? Right, the derivative is the slope of the tangent, but in this case it's just an equation because that's the slope of the tangent at any point in the function. But we have two specific points that we're finding, so if we have the points that we're finding, how do we find the specific slope at that point? Put what in? The x, right, okay, so this is the equation for the slope of the tangent. And then if we have specific points, then we can find the actual number slope at that point. So we have the origin, which is what point? 0, 0, so that's where we just really need the x value. So where x equals 0, we plug that into the equation of the tangent. So -4 times 0 squared plus 4 divided by 0 squared plus 1 squared. So all that would just be 0. No, it would be 0. So it's going to be what? 4.
Why don't we plug 1 into
That's what I was wondering.
We will. We have to do it twice because we have to find the tangents at the origin and at that point.
So you get like two separate answers.
Yes.
So 4 is the tangent at the origin.
Yes. That's the slope of the tangent at the origin. Yes. So the slope here is 4.
Do we have to make that point slope one?
Right. Because you have to find the equation. It says find the tangents, which means we need the equation of the line. We have the slope and we have the point 0, 0, so now you have to use the point slope form. So y minus 0 equals 4 times x minus 0. So y equals 4x. Okay, so why don't you guys go ahead and do the other point they give you, which is 1, 2. So that's where you're going to plug in the 1 for x.
I don't know if I did something wrong in that one, but I got the slope to be 0. So, I feel like that'd be wrong. Oh, plus, oh, never mind.
Are you getting 0 over
Yeah.
4? Is that 0?
There it is, 0 over 1.
Yeah, I did that first
No,
too,
1
but
plus
it's...
plus 2 squared. Okay.
Wait. Did you get 4 over 1? So it's just...
We got 0.
Oh, that's wrong.
Okay.
Because I did that first too. And you can't have a slope of 0.
Okay, that can be a
Are
straight
you
line.
sure?
You could, I guess, but... I don't know.
See that? 0x. Do you have to write that like y equals 0x or you don't? Okay.
Miss Faulkner, I found like the slope, and now like I'm trying to do like the slope, the point slope form thing. So I get like,
Oh wait, yeah, I got,
I
that's
guess
what I
like
got
the 1
too
minus
earlier.
2.
I got
I think
0
that's
over,
um, then I don't know where to put mine.
Equals
Which is
m,
zero.
which is this, parentheses x minus one.
How can you have it?
Oh wait. I think I'm. So when I plugged it in, I got 0. So that's my slope.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did point, so I don't need to do the point form again. Okay. So that's just my equation for the tangent.
Yep.
I got y equals 0 as minus 2. How is that possible?
It is. So the slope is 0 for that one. Which means what kind of a line is it?
Straight line.
Horizontal line, yes. Okay, so because
But would you
this
write
would be
0
negative 4
as-
plus 4, which would be 0 over 2 squared, which would be 4, so that's still 0. So it's y minus 2 equals 0 times x minus 1. Well, all of this is multiplied by 0, so it's just going to be y equals 2. So these are the equations of the tangent lines at those points that they gave you.
Have you guys done 42 yet?
Well, do it right now.
Yes, why don't you all do 42 now, because it's very similar to 41.
If the, because it just has 8 on the top, does that mean the derivative would be 0?
Yes.
So for this one, we just plug in like the 2 for the x because they're not asking for the origin.
Correct.
Why is that
Yeah.
16x?
I don't know, but I
On
didn't get
top.
that. Why is there a top on the bottom?
Bullshit.
Dang it. I did the top, but I forgot the square part.
For
Did you get this one?
I have the first part, but I have just 2, not 2x.
The derivative of the bottom would be 2x, because the derivative of x squared, you take the 2, bring it into the front, so that would be
Okay.
2x to the 2 minus 1, which would be x
So I have to answer to be y equals 1 over 2x, right?
squared. That's the slope but that's not the right equation. I see why you're getting that. No, I don't.
So is the 1/2 the answer?
You probably have a sign, just one sign.